I'm going to cover 3 different things that are a little random, but the first one is a guide to our messages and creating stories with emotional impact. I'm going to ask Wes to show me how to use this. Technology. And the second is a little bit of housekeeping, some messages from Lori Ann that I'm going to share with you. And the third is a little bit about some of the successful events that we've had. Boy, I have to push like 3 times. Okay, so I'm going to talk about marketing messages with emotional impact. Before I started at Axe, I spent 10 years working with organizations to help them develop and define their marketing messages. And one of the challenges that I found that organizations had was that they didn't know how to develop their marketing voice, that kind of just right style that felt true to them as an organization and to their mission. And one of the things that we found as, the group that I worked with, that we found was that the best way to do that was to find a person or a couple of people within that organization who could speak with authenticity to the mission of the organization. So it felt true, it felt right, and to use that to develop those stories. And what I'm going to talk about today is our brand messages, but how you bring emotional impact to those messages. But first, whoops, sorry. Okay. So here he is on the beach with my grandmother in Ocean City. And there he is again with his family. Grandmom and Grandpop were childhood sweethearts. They lived across the street from each other. They went to the same church their whole lives. Grandpop worked for the exact same company his entire career. When he retired at 65, they toured the United States in his Red Valiant. He figures they went to 39 out of the 50 states, including a dream trip to Hawaii. When Grandpop was 82, Grandmom died. And while my parents were quietly trying to figure out what they were going to do with Grandpop and have him move into their home, he found a place at Granite Farms Estates. So at 83, he moved into Granite Farms. He sang in the chorus. He planted a garden. He delivered the mail. He worked in the wood shop. And he fell in love again. A year after his second love died, Grandpa passed away, a month short of his 99th birthday. So, and he survived to hold and meet 5 of his 6 great-grandchildren, which is pretty amazing to me. So that's a really powerful story. And I really, truly believe that the reason he survived as long as he did and that his life had such quality was because he lived at Granite Farms. I also know that that's the reason I chose to work at Axe. When I sent my cover letter in to Lori and Dave, I mentioned the fact that my grandfather had lived at Granite Farms and that I really felt that his life was immeasurably enriched by being at Granite Farms. So, sorry, I'm a little emotional. But that's a powerful message. And I think that that's a message that is shared by many of our residents. And I think we need to find those stories to tell. But first, we need to know what our brand positioning is. So that's where we go. This is our positioning statement. For active, independent seniors, living at an Axe Retirement Life community brings peace of mind that enables them to achieve greater joy of living. That's a really aspirational statement, but it's based in fact because there was research behind this. It wasn't just something we made up. It's based on these brand pillars. Hello. Axe Life Care, the lifestyle you enjoy at an Axe community. Whoops, go back. The financial security that you achieve by living in an ACTS community and the stability of ACTS as an organization. So let's talk about these separately. Life care, the promise of life care. Each of these has a little promise behind it. And the promise is you will have the peace of mind that comes from knowing your long-term care, and nearly all of the costs of that care are prearranged. And then we also have reasons to believe, and these are all the things that you use to sell this. So you know all of these. There's no increase in cost based solely on a change in your level of care. You're going to have your care provided on campus. You're not going to have to move your spouse someplace. All of these reasons. I'm not going to read them all because you know them and we're short on time. Our next pillar is lifestyle, and our promise is you will experience a fulfilling, independent lifestyle with the activities and amenities of a resort-like environment, and you'll live better and longer in a CCRC. Again, reasons to believe. Opportunity to pursue passions and discover new interests, delicious meals, freedom from work and home ownership, all of the things, again, that we talk about. Financial security. Our promise is that you will be safe from unexpected expenses and your nest egg will be protected. We talk about entrance fee being partially refundable, the Samaritan Fund, pay for tomorrow's health care in today's dollars. Again, all points that you know. And the final, the stability of ACTS. You can rest assured in the proven strength of ACTS. 50-year track record, ability to pull resources from other communities in times of need, our accreditation, all of those are great selling points. So those are our brand messages, and we're working on developing a guide that will assist you so that, if you are going on a presentation, you can pull this out and kind of refresh yourself, because I think it's helpful to do that. But really the impact is having stories that illustrate each of these different areas. The story of my grandfather, for me, illustrates a couple of things. One, it was lifestyle. His lifestyle at ACTS was, if he had moved in with my parents, he would have stayed at home and maybe gone to the senior center once a week. But he was involved in everything. Everybody knew him at Granite Farms. But there was another thing that I recognized, and that was the fact that my parents didn't worry about him. And because he chose to do that, my parents chose to move into a CCRC because they knew what that did for them, they wanted to give to us. So here are things to think about this. And this really goes back to what Tracy was talking about, making connections. So if you're making connections with your residents as they're coming in, you'll hear these stories. And these stories are stories that'll make you proud of ACTS, whether it's a resident story or a staff member having a great story, stories that prove that peace of mind means joy of living, and stories that help people move beyond their doubts, which I think you're going to be talking about tomorrow. So that's kind of the stories. Tina, do you want to share any stories?
Basically, I have a resident, which I'm sure we all have residents with similar stories. She has a sister-in-law who was already a resident for about 9 years at Manor House, and her husband had passed away 4 or 5 years ago, and she started to notice her abilities were declining, although she was completely independent, but she started to be concerned about living alone, and she said to me what made the decision for her to move in, which totally hits on that peace of mind,
So I think what I'd like to, Dave and Lori and I are going to work together, and we're going to pull this together as a message guide to share with you guys so that you have these messages to develop further if you want to, talk about things in your presentations. I think our sales presentation is undergoing an overhaul, so hopefully you'll have that by July when you have to make the next one. So, okay, so we're into housekeeping. These are things you need to know. Whoops. So from Lorianne, giveaways. I have a whole list of giveaways. So this is what you should have now. Yeah. And this is what you should be handing out at events. And they get one per household. I was admonished to mention this. The spiral notebook and pen, signature bread, stress hearts, letter openers, and the magnet pad. Letter openers? Letter openers? You don't have the little white letter openers that are shaped like houses? Seriously? They were like months ago. Okay, we'll find them for you and send them. Oh. They're in Dave's office. Okay, so, but you do have the heart magnet pad, right? Yes. Okay. And pens are being delivered, not the pens you want. The pens you want are coming in 90 days from China. So they're blue. So it's the Molly Pitcher pen in blue. Let me tell you, that was not an easy lift, but okay, what's coming to you and may actually be delivered, some of these may be delivered while you're here. We have pet food can lids, coffee mugs, bookmark magnifiers, and seed packets with a little, those aren't coming because I haven't designed it yet. It has a little thing about axe in it. Yeah, flower seeds, forget-me-nots. So those will, you're getting 25 of each of those to hand out, not willy-nilly. Again, Lorianne was like, they're not supposed to hand these out to everybody. So what we are also looking at is some logo magnets, just a flat magnet on your fridge, an eyeglass and screen cleaner kit, which is really cool. We have lunch coolers that actually I think have already come in, and they're right up there. Oh, that's the magnet. And that's the eyeglass cleaner. So they've already been delivered. We should take a picture of them and send it to me. And then a visor and golf towels. And Caroline has a golf towel. Did you give it to me? No. She packed it. Okay, so that's giveaways. It's a lunch cooler. That's it, right up there. It's a red. No, that's not a fanny pack. It's just folded funny. It's a can. It's the lid for a can. Like if you have an open, it doesn't have to be pet food. You can like put it over another can if you want to. But we're trying to address pet owners. So, okay, so BRC returns. There's been a bunch of questions about why the business reply card doesn't go back to the community and comes to us. The easy answer is that in order for us to have them go to the community, we would have to have permits in each of those post offices, and then we'd have to make sure that those permits are funded. And it's much easier for us to do it this way. I will say BRCs may be going away. We're going to do a test of a couple of invitations without a BRC and see what kind of response we get. A lot of our competitors don't use BRCs, we've noticed, so maybe they're obsolete. The reply card. Yes, Jeremy?
The two operational guys here had no clue what a BRC is.
Business reply card. So it's a little reply for the invitation. Yeah, for our events. So they can reply by phone, by email, or by business reply card.
And a lot of what we've been talking to a lot of marketing companies, and they're starting to not use them anymore because it forces the person to then call, or go to the internet. And so it's easier then for us to get direct contact. We want them to call. So it's easier for us to.
Yeah, and it does save time. So in the meantime, if we are using a BRC, we are going to put that reply by date back on. So I guarantee no one will listen to the reply by date, but it'll make you feel better. Okay, so event backup dates. Please work with your regional to have backup dates for events if we fill them, because we do not want to turn people away. And if you close an event, you need to notify Lynn, Lorianne, and Ryan, because they each have to do something different to close that event. Housewarming party invites. So as part of the Prospect of 365, our new residents have a housewarming party that on Axe for 20 of their friends who are not Axe residents. And we're working on those invitations and some, and I know that Carrie's group is really anxious to get their hands on them. We're waiting for some of the, what exactly that entails. In the old version, we provided housekeeping for an hour to clean up the place for the event. I don't know if that's happening or not. So maybe two of the VPs of Ops could weigh in on that while they're here. So those will be coming your way probably in the next month. The info kit. Everybody's like, yeah, you should have led with this, Beth. The Northeast region, we are wrapping up. It should go to print in the next week or so, please. We're waiting on some approvals. And then as we're going through the other regions, you will get your floor plans. What you need to do when you get those floor plans, please review them and make sure that those are the floor plans that you're selling, because we want to make sure they're as accurate as we can make them. We're going through all this trouble. So I will say we have printed one piece, and it's really cool. So this is the new marketing brochure. And you guys can come up and touch these when. Okay, the batteries fell out.
I have a question while you're doing that.
Okay.
Beth, on the housewarming party invites, is culinary aware what the amount is that we're supposed to charge per meal for that?
I think that's an operational question. I'm not sure.
Well,
And I'm not sure.
culinary is asking us, so I don't know what to tell them.
They want to know housewarming.
The housewarming, yeah. What the dollar amount.
Well, I have an email into Jonathan about the other question, so when he responds to that email, I'll ask him that.
Hardpoint Village called me.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think it's just kind of figuring out what the cost is. Okay, so that's the info kit. The other thing that we're working. I should use this, shouldn't I? The other thing that I feel like I have such a coach's voice that it doesn't matter. The other thing we're working on is a welcome home binder. How many of you hand out a binder to your people who USC at the USC? Folder. Okay, so we're developing a binder that has all of this information so that it's consistent. We're handing out the same kinds of information. It may not be the exact same information. The things that will be, so we've designed a cover. I'm working with mostly Laura because her team has kind of got this down pat. And the cover, so this is the design of the cover. And it's going to be personalized. So it's going to say, welcome home, and it's going to have the people's names. So you'll be able to take this sheet and put it through a printer and print their name on it. Excuse me?
New address.
Yeah, and their new address. Yeah.
Because they love that.
Yeah.
I just like that.
So that'll be on it. And we're developing some tabs for it, and there'll be a checklist on each tab. And the checklist will have what is in the packet. So it's a health history and examination form, resident health information form, and I'm going to ask you all to weigh in and ask you what you put in your packets so that we're covering all the bases. My story form, medical. Okay. Medical insurance and assignment of benefits form, privacy notice form, you know, all the HIPAA and a return envelope, which I thought was really cool that you guys put in the packets. So, and then the financial, there'll be a checklist with the financial screening information form, the things to bring to your meeting, which is the Medicare card, supplemental insurance card, that's on the checklist, and then the return envelope. A tab for contract, a tab for interior design, which will have the selections book in it, selling and moving your home with quick buy information and local resources that you want to include, and community information, community fact sheet, community contacts, and meal costs, channel listing, things like that, and then local resources. Yes?
Can we distribute like table of contents so everybody can see what the
I was going to say, I'll send an email out to sales managers with this. So, it's a white binder. There'll be this. On the back cover will be, I think, a map of the community. Not the new site maps yet, but soon enough. So that's that. So the next thing I want to talk about is we've had a lot of success this year with these small events, and I credit Drew with some of this because he kind of came up with this idea in February, and it was really great. We did a private offering at Brittany Point for 2 bedrooms, right?
2 bedrooms.
And they had huge success. And so we've done this with looking at smaller events, targeting specific kinds of inventory and or types of people. So here are all of those invites that we've done this year. And I have them up here as samples. It's a lot of events. I mean, that's just a sampling. It's not all of them. But you can see that they're small. They feel a little bit more elegant than just our regular mailers. They're in an envelope. They have a little nice address on them. They make people feel really welcome. And here are the results we've had from these. So Brittany Point had a private offering event. They had 45 people attend. They had 5 USCs. That was like, woohoo. Cokesbury Village had their cottage open house before they even had the event. I think they sold out, right, Tasha? Where's Tasha? The cottages. Indian River had an apartment open house. They had 39 people attend, and they had 3 priority lists to that. And then Granite Farms, when we did the big reveal for the preserve, we had 38 people attend, and we had 2 priority lists. Coming up, we have a 3-bedroom event at Tryon for their Pearsons. That's a private offering. These often come with some of the incentives. People are using their money bank. They're being really creative in how they're presenting it. The cluster is doing an event where it's your first 4 months free in terms of your monthly fee. And then Southampton is doing one bedrooms. They're for 1 bedrooms, but what is the incentive on that?
It's $10,000 off, but they're taking a NIC unit without a washer dryer.
There you go. So, but the key to these is that they're exclusive. They feel really exclusive, And they're designed so that you can only get the benefit if you come to the event. And they're supposed to be intimate, too. Oh, wait, I was going to talk about yours because I love yours. So Tina's 100% occupied. She's having a garden party open house to build her priority list, which is so cool. And the invitation we designed for her, I love, love, love. So.
But also, I was going to mention about the little events that I've been doing. I'm kind of starting
Oh,
to
yeah.
work with residents. If they're involved in a bridge club, which I've had 2 different residents who I've had a small group of 6 or 8 ladies or their friends come in for a lunch, a tour, just kind of that private event. When I get back on Tuesday, I'm having a group of 12 there that are the Caroline County retired school personnel, that we have a resident and my priority list member who are both in this group, and they help to coordinate this. And again, like I said, those small ones really have a big impact.
Yeah.
Beth?
Yes.
I wanted to say something.
Oh, you can go through the other questions first.
Okay.
Oh, Beth, I'm just wondering if it's possible to have whatever you're doing with other folks shared somewhere on the portal. So that we can
Well, the one thing I didn't mention is that we are working on the marketing calendar, the electronic marketing calendar, and once that gets up and running, I have it as a beta, and I'm populating it with some events, and as we get to that point, people will have access to all of these as PDFs. So, but there are samples up here if you want to come and look at them, and people can take these. Well, you have to fight people for them, but.
And we are hopeful that we don't have to keep creating new ones all the time, so if we can repurpose some with some modifications from one community to another, because they're pretty nice.
And invitations and envelopes make a difference.
Yeah, we've had great response to this. So, and we're working with a local printer now, so it's fairly cost effective for us.